Oh, let's make sure the mic is on for this because that's going to be kind of important. I'm finally making this video. In one hand, I'm very excited about this, and on the other hand, I'm very nervous about this, but I think that comes with any time you're trying to do something that's one of your dreams and one of your goals. And I think a lot of you know, at least people that watch Breaking It Down with Brickitect, you know one of my big YouTube dreams is to have my own podcast. In this video, I'm going to talk about that. Now that I've gotten the hardest part out of the way, which is getting started, and I hope that's the case for this podcast, I'm going to run you through a whole bunch of things that I want to talk about, what you can expect from this podcast, what it will be, what it won't be, what's it going to be called, all that fun stuff. And I actually have some bullet points here. I could pretend like I have this all memorized, but let's just be honest with each other because that's a big part of what this podcast is going to be. Let's start with bullet point 1, which is what do I want from this podcast? Well, basically, this is going to be a weekly solo podcast where I discuss life as a Lego YouTuber, a Lego collector, and a father of a future Lego collector, or maybe he's a current Lego collector. I guess he is. So I want to discuss all of those things. It's going to be a very personal podcast. I also want to talk about topics that interest me, whether it's YouTube related, Lego related, all that fun stuff. And I want to talk about questions that I get that can't be answered in a sentence or two, like the situation with Breaking It Down. You guys give me a lot of good stuff there that I could talk about for a while, and I feel like this would be a good outlet to do that. So that kind of takes us to the next topic, which is what can you expect from this podcast as a viewer or listener? And what I would love to turn this into is a combination of two shows that I've done in the past, which is Good Morning World, which was a very personal thing where I talked about my life, and the late night radio show on Brickitect Live where I talked more about Lego stuff. I want to mend those two things together, or mesh, meld, melt, I don't know. I'm going to put those two things together, and I want to turn it into a very personal podcast where you get a lot of me and a little bit of Lego, or maybe an even mix of me and Lego, but those two things together. And I think that's something that a lot of people that watch this show or this channel would be interested in, because that's what our channel is. You come here probably for the personality as opposed to the information. God, I hope you're not coming here for the information, because I feel bad for you. I also have a topic on here that is, what will the podcast not be? And this is a very simple answer. It's not going to be a Lego news podcast. I already do one of those. If you guys want to listen to that, you can go over to M&R Productions channel, and every Sunday he puts out a Bricks and Bits episode where we talk about a lot of Lego news. I want to get away from that a little bit. Not to say that I'm stopping that. I really enjoy doing that show with those guys. I just want to do something that's kind of like my own thing and has my personality into it. Have I used the word personality enough in this video? Somebody do a count. Now that we got all that boring stuff out of the way, that takes us to the most important part of this video. What's the podcast going to be called? And I actually had two different names for this. The first one, I admit, wasn't very good. It was going to be called the Dropped Piece podcast because, you know, it's a Brickitect video, and I felt like that would really symbolize a lot of our channel and what I'm about. But I really didn't like the word dropped in the title, so I went with something kind of similar to that. It's going to be called the Missing Pieces podcast, because obviously as Lego collectors, we can all relate to the missing piece. Maybe me more than anyone, I feel like, but I feel like everybody's had a piece missing every once in a while, whether it was Lego's fault or more than likely it was on your carpet and you noticed it after you finished your live stream. But on a serious note, I think Missing Pieces works really well because, one, it's relatable like I mentioned, but also because it's what I hope to accomplish from the show. I hope to fill in those missing pieces, whether it's something that you want to know about me or some topic that maybe you want to know more about or get my opinion on. It feels like when I do live streams and when I look at the comments, you guys really do value my opinion, which I really appreciate, and I hope to put a lot more of that out there. Also, personality. Oh, I almost forgot my other reason, which is more of a joke than anything, of the reason that I like the title Missing Pieces is because it doesn't have the word brick in it. If you're on YouTube, I've said this before, if you do anything on YouTube, don't use the word brick in your name or the title. Ever. Anybody out there that's ever made a YouTube video ever feel like you just want to start over again from scratch? I'm kind of feeling that right now, but I've tried doing that before and I've realized it's never as good as that original take. So we're just going to let this roll. I'm just going to wrap it up here with telling you guys that that's my big idea. That's what I want to do. My biggest dream right now, to do a podcast, a very personal one where I talk about Lego, life, all that fun stuff that interests me. And I'm hoping to turn this into something really cool. My plans for publishing this are going to be a weekly podcast that I have on this channel. There is one other thing though. I almost forgot about this. It's going to be a solo podcast, so it's just going to be me. There's going to be no guests with this, other than Clark Man, maybe, and Mrs. Brickitect for certain episodes. You guys are giving me good stuff on Breaking It Down that I could bring her on and we could have really great conversations on. So it's just going to be me, which I apologize for if that's not something you want, but I think it's going to work out really well. Again, I'm going to be publishing this once a week as a video on Brickitect, so you can watch the video there. But my big thing that I want to do is actually make this a podcast, and I've been given the suggestion, I heard this also on a podcast, that there's a service called Anchor that allows you to publish your audio file to all these different podcasting platforms like Apple Podcasts, Google, Spotify, all that stuff. Wherever you listen to podcasts at, it's going to be able to go out there. So I'm going to try to do that as well. Of course, I've never done that, so I can't guarantee it. But I'm going to try to make that a thing so you can actually be in your car or going to work, going to school, whatever you do where you can't necessarily watch a video, you can listen to whatever I have to say. The videos, I don't know how long they're going to be. Some topics I want to talk about might only be a couple minutes. Some could go on a lot longer than that. I've had live streams where I've just kind of gone off and it's turned into something really special, and that's what I hope that this turns into as well. So maybe I'll do like a bunch of little chops on like a 3-minute thing, 5-minute thing, 10-minute thing of just topics I want to talk about, make it into one, or it'll just be a 5-minute podcast. It might be a 30-minute podcast. I can't imagine talking by myself for an hour. I was going to say talking to myself for an hour, but kind of doing that right now. I just imagine there's a person out there that I'm talking to. Is it you? You in the blue shirt. I'm talking to you. Now I definitely want to start this video over again, but that's it. There is one last thing though that I need your help on. I hope you're still here, especially if you're a graphic designer or somebody that's really good with graphic design. I want to make a really cool logo for this podcast, and I dreamed up this idea for one, which I think I'm going to go super ghetto here and try to show it to you. Please hold while I get my iPad. Please don't make fun of me on this, but this is the very quick thumbnail / title screen that I came up with for this. Ideally, what I'd like this to be is 1920 by 1080 so I can use it as a thumbnail, but this is going to be the Missing Pieces Life and Lego podcast. And my idea for this, I don't know if you can see it. I haven't filled in all of the spots here with Lego bricks, but it's almost like a brick wall of all different colors, mainly the brickitect logo colors. So you got green, blue, red, and yellow, but in black 1x1 tiles. And I'm sure you've seen these before. I'll put a picture of the set up there. They have these black tiles that have white letters on them. And I was going to have one for each of the letters of the podcast title. So it's Missing Pieces Life and Lego podcast. And I have probably more than enough lines here. So I'd like it to be, I guess, like that, but I need a place where I can put the number of the episode, maybe like over here. The black is supposed to symbolize the actual missing pieces. So what this is going to look like, ideally, is like a wall that's been built, but pieces are missing out of it, hence the missing pieces thing. The white would be filled in, the black would be empty, but I want it to be like a sound structure because I'd like to make this out of Lego using actual pieces, almost like the brickitect logo. I don't know even if I put a lot of time into this that I can make it look great, but if somebody has a way to make this look good, like maybe in Lego Digital Designer, there's a way you can do it. So this would be like studs on the side, and then the tiles would be in front, and then the black pieces be missing. Maybe that, or if you have a whole new idea for a logo and title for this series, I would really appreciate it. You can send it to me on Instagram, or you can email me. I'll put my email address up as well. You can send it as an attachment if you're really good at this kind of stuff. You have like a week. I'm going to be recording the episode this week, but putting it out next week to try to do this, which was my main motivation for putting this video out there. So maybe somebody can help save me from this terrible wreck here, but it's as good as I did in about 15 minutes of messing around on Procreate. I think you guys can tell that I'm excited about this. I'm most excited about having this video done because now it's out there and now I have to follow through, and it's gonna be a weekly thing from here on. I've got 5 episodes planned, starting with next week, which is gonna be the origins of brickitect. I get a lot of questions as to how this all started. I'm gonna talk all about that from YouTube, the day I got on YouTube all the way up until right now, and then I can refer people to that video, and I've got like 4 other episodes planned. If you have any amazing ideas for a podcast topic that I could talk about for maybe more than just a few minutes, I would love to hear from that. And each episode, I'd like to open it up at the end to like comments from the previous episode or an extra topic, like a viewer-related topic. I don't know, it's gonna be one of those things that kind of just changes as time goes by, and we'll see what works and what doesn't work, and I'll let you guys kind of help me with that as well. It's going to be a team effort, and I hope you guys are excited about this too. Thank you so much for making it through this video. You are a trooper if you did, and we'll see you in the next video, which is going to be, let's be honest, I'm time traveling so hard right now, I don't even know what the next video is going to be, so we'll see you in whatever the next one is.